Hey everyone, I'm Chef Dennis, and welcome to the last session of the third annual Virtual Bloggers Conference, and it's a good one too. We're going to talk about some very important tools that not only help you analyze what your reach is and what you're doing, but helps you give figures to brands that you want to work with or show your worth, show your value to people that you are trying to get to use you for your reach. So right now we're going to just introduce everyone and say hi, and then we're going to come back and get started. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section and we'll do our best to answer them. So I'm going to go all the way over and I'm going to start with Christine DeGraff. Hey Christine.
Hello there. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and it's been a while since we've been in a hangout together. It's good to see you.
Good to see you as
And,
well.
I'll be heading back up your way next week, so hopefully we'll be able to get together and
Sounds
we don't
good.
interfere with the grandchildren. You know, we'll let you we'll let you have that one. But maybe we can spend some time and talk. It'd be nice to meet you in real life finally.
Absolutely.
Especially since we lived so close for so long and didn't know.
I know.
Yeah, we met after I moved. And then next to you, I have Craig Fifield, and I'm with Craig's Army. So I'm one of your followers, and it's so great to have you here. And you're are you in New Hampshire or Maine?
I just left Maine, and right now I'm sitting in our guest room in New Hampshire.
Ah, okay. So you're living the hard life. It is. It's rough.
Yeah. I had to cut the grass at the lake today. It was painful.
Oh, gotta hate it. Gotta hate it. Oh well. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, and I know we'll have some questions for you. And then I've got John Dietrich, and John is here for Nod3x. And,
hey guys,
good
thanks
to
for
see
having
you.
us.
Oh, my pleasure. And it's something I need to learn more about, so I'm going to be really paying attention to both of you guys talking, but especially Nod3x, because I know I need to be more active and aware of what's going on. And Kara, well, this is the first time I get to meet you in virtual life.
Oh.
And I'm so happy to see you. And you are in Canada, correct?
I am. I'm sort of like the cousin that's tucked up at the top of your country.
Well, I'm glad you could make it. And for those of you that didn't get to see, I wish I had been periscoping because Kara made one heck of an entrance. She came in dancing.
Oh,
That's right.
I had my music, and I do that all the time. And so I'll be listening to music during the day, and I'll keep it on my, my laptops, but then I forget to take it off. And then when I come into a hangout, I have music playing.
Well, you were jamming, so that was good. I liked that. It woke me up, too, so I'm happy to have you here.
Yeah,
so, once again, guys, if you do have questions, and we have a lot of people in the audience, Peter Feltham is here saying, what ho, everyone.
Peter.
Maureen Shaw's coming in to us from Australia, from the land down under. Ron Snaberg is in Jupiter, Florida. He's not too far. Coach Moore is coming from Texas. Candy is in Tokyo. So we've got quite a... Oh, here's Phil Aston. And Phil, you're staying up. If you're still awake, it's kind of late over in England. And I guess, Peter, you're there too. So you guys are burning the midnight oil to learn more about these products. So thank you so much. And leave your questions for our panel, and we'll get to them. So right now, I'm going to turn it over to Craig and Christine and let you kick it off with some talk about Circloscope and how we can use it.
You waiting for me, Christine? So Circloscope is a product for Google Plus that enables you to basically identify and circle and follow the engagers. Engagers are the most important people. People that are related to your industry are the most important people to follow. People that are talking about what you're going to talk about are the most important people to circle and start engaging with. Circloscope is a tool that enables you to do that a lot more easily than you can just using Google+. So the main features of Circloscope are you can very easily take one of your own posts, and if you say you have 10 or 15 comments or maybe more, you can put that into Circloscope and easily add the people that commented to a circle or the people that +1 to a circle. You could do the same thing with maybe your competitor's profile. And in that case, I do a lot of SEO, so maybe I have an SEO competitor that talks about the same types of things that I do, or in this case, this is the Bloggers Conference, blogs about the same things that I do. I can very easily put my competitor's profile in, and then add all the people that are plussing his posts and commenting on his posts to a circle, and then I can start engaging with those people and grow my own circles and grow my own engagement on my own profile. And there's a lot more different versions of that through communities, and That's the main focus of Circloscope.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't realize is, they get to Google Plus and they really have no idea how to get started, how to grow their following. And you need a following, you need reach in order to, have people see what you're trying to share and to have people to engage with. And the one thing, if you're following people that are interested, in your topic, they are likely to follow you back, assuming you have your profile photo and your about page is filled out, and you've, shared posts that are related to a certain topic. And then you use Circloscope and go find people who are already in communities around that topic, talking about that topic, and add them to the circles. And a lot of people are going to follow you back. And these are the people that are more likely interested in what you're talking about, and you can start engaging with them and building a relationship.
Right.
I've managed.
I think what's really key there is you're actually adding engagers, people that are actually willing to talk about, willing to plus one, are already very interested in being outgoing about content that you provide. Whereas a lot of times when you're getting started on a platform, one of the things that's recommended a lot is to go and follow all the influencers. Well, guess what? They're not very interested in what you're posting. They're interested in other influencers and their whole crowd. You really want to connect with the people that are actively engaging with content that you're producing.
Not saying you shouldn't follow any influencers, but but definitely, if you're targeting correctly and you're looking for your audience more than anything. The influencers, you are probably their audience.
Right.
But so you're looking for your audience, and Circloscope can really help you with that.
Mm-hmm. Can I just interrupt? Can I just sort of
Sure.
tell you one of the things, like when I use Circloscope, I say to my clients, the value proposition in using Circloscope is that I can identify your customers.
Absolutely.
We don't know. We love the word influencer and we know what it means because when we get online, we're like, oh, that person is an influencer. I find that sometimes my clients don't. So if I substitute influencer for customer, and customer to us is a little bit, I understand, like we're removed from that word, and influencer works better in our field. But when I say customer, I can identify your customers. I can see people they all of a sudden tune in.
Okay, so you're using customers like we use the word engagers, actually.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
and yes, you definitely. And that's your target audience. Your customers are the ones, or potential customers. These are the people you're looking for. And you can use Circloscope to, go find them and add them. And, a lot of them will follow you back. And then you start a relationship from there.
Right.
And Kara, I'll jump in here for a second. You mentioned right in the green room that Martin just wrote an article about how Circloscope is filling the gap that's kind of being left by some of the features that have been recently removed. Like, we no longer have ripples and we no longer have shared circles.
And hashtag.
Those two things Circloscope can do for us. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, guys? I think that's...
Absolutely.
Well, I think it's actually adding some stuff to our new feature list.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one thing, when they removed ripples, a lot of people would view their post to see who shared their post, who plus their post, and you can no longer do that on Google+. So you can actually put the post URL into Circloscope, find everybody who shared the post, find everybody who plus the post, and add them to your circles. So that's one of the features that we're not sure why they took away, but with Circloscope, you still have that ability to see, who your sharers are.
Right. And Martin also mentioned that it's not exactly streamlined, but because we can't share circles, you can still use and import-export features of Circloscope to kind of share circles to other Circloscope users. Is that?
Absolutely. And one thing that I know some people have mentioned that when they, Google Plus people who manage social media for their clients and create a Google Plus page for their clients, they're no longer able to easily, they call it onboard their clients by sharing circles with them, which, kind of gave them a start of here's some people you should be following, here's some people who might be interested. But yeah, you can use the import-export feature with Circloscope to do the same thing. It's just going to, not quite as easy as, but we've lost that feature on Google Plus, so it's the only way to do it now.
I have to smile though, Christine, though, with the fact that you're left with the one product that can still make circles happen.
I know, right?
It is kind of funny, isn't it?
For anyone who doesn't know, I used to be called the Circle Queen because I was so prolific at sharing circles. Yeah. And yes, so it is quite ironic.
Isn't it odd that it's come full circle?
It has.
Stop it.
So, and here she is.
I love it.
This will go down in social media history. I guarantee. But the one person who was, the best at circles, Google ended up taking it away, capitalizes on it.
Still have it, yep.
One of the things that I love Circloscope for is that I can put in my event when I have an event, and I can see who said yes, who said maybe, who said no. So it helps me build a good list of people to invite.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I can also go into my competitors or my friends' events that hold events and see who said yes to them. So I have found new followers that way by plugging theirs in and inviting the people that said yes to their events.
Yep.
Your communities too.
Right, yeah, I was just going to say that. If you're a community owner, you can put in your community, and I don't know if people are aware that may be watching, but you have your community and members join, but you aside from your community, you don't have any other interaction with them. With Circloscope, you can plug in your community, or even a community that you're interested in or have a relationship with, and import all those users and add them to different circles, and then start interacting with them on a more personal level than when you would just in the community.
We have a question here by Candy. She wants to know if there's any difference between Circloscope and Circle Count, so I wanted to address that.
That's a good question.
Yes, and we love Circle Count, and they work well together, but they are totally different. Circle Count generally is statistics and shows you, how many followers you have, how many, how many pluses you have on your page, what events you've attended. You can find the most popular pages and people, where Circloscope is more about an actual taking an action of adding those engagers into a circle, filtering, people and adding them to a circle, and also removing people from your circles. Say, for example, if they, because you can only have 5,000 people in your circles, so you may at some point want to remove people who are no longer active on Google+. Perhaps you want to remove people who don't follow you back anymore. You can whitelist, which, say influencers or people that you always want to follow, whether they follow you back or not, but then you can remove the rest. They work well together. If you go to Circle Count's page, it's circlecount.com, and if you look at your profile, anywhere that you see the Circloscope icon, you can send, just by clicking it, send that data right into Circloscope so that you can then filter and add them to your circles. And we also work hand in hand with Nod3x the same way. If you go into Nod3x, anywhere that you see a Circloscope icon, you could just click it and it's going to send that data right over, and you can easily add them to your circles. So we all work very well together. We play well in the sandbox. We play nice.
Yeah, great answer. I like that. It's very good.
Should we do a little demonstration, Craig? Or?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, you tell me what to do. I'm just going to screen share and bring it up.
I would just probably show, since this is the Bloggers Conference, maybe, do you know of a blog post that's out there that you could just grab some followers from, or grab some people to circle?
Let's see. Oh, is this going to work? Hold on. I think I did the wrong one.
So while she's doing
the Circloscope dashboard a second ago.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just go to.
So while she's doing this, Chef, we actually have a 25% discount today, just for you guys.
Ooh, great.
So I'll put it in the comments in just a minute. But if anybody wants to buy Circloscope for 25% off, during the show, or probably until I go to bed and shut it down, is you can go to circloscope.com/chefrules.
Craig, what are the price points?
Right now, the most popular is the regular premium package, which is $47. And we do have a pro package. Let me go to the homepage. I forget what we charge for pro.
In a month, or?
It's $47 annually.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right.
You all set, Christine?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I grabbed the URL from Chef's from this event, and I'm going to just go to the dashboard of Circloscope, and it's actually a Chrome extension, so I just click the little button to get here. And from the dashboard, I'm going to go to Events and find everyone who said that yes, that they are coming to this event. Put in the URL, and we can see everyone who said yes, that they're attending this event. And at this point, you know, we've got people who are obviously interested in social media tools. So, you know, whatever event it is, make sure that it's relevant to whatever you're trying to do. So these are people that I would, you know, want to add to my circles if they aren't already. You could see it'll show you which people are in my circles, like Ask Chef Dennis Productions is in my following circle. I'm following him. You could filter this if you only wanted people that you don't already have circled. And it'll show that I have 44 people that said yes, they were attending, that I do not currently have in my circles. And so I can just select them all and add them to a circle. And I can name it whatever I want. Interested in social media tools. And now all of these people are going to get a notification that I added them to a circle. And they may or may not add them back. Now, I could have done that also, which would have been a little more relevant, is to do that from my Circloscope page, which I just accessed via the drop-down menu. And so now I'm going to just do it one more time. I'll say everyone who's going to an event that's not already in my circles.
Now, is that the ability to do this with pages? Is that part of a different package you guys offer?
It is part of the paid package. For the premium, which is $47 a year, you get your profile and 3 pages, which is usually enough for most people.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so from the Circloscope page, I have 65 people that aren't already in my circles. So I'm going to select them all and add them to a new circle. And you can name it whatever you want. Obviously, just there's no right or wrong with naming circles, as long as you know what the name is, and that's not seen by the people that you're circling. So now, again, like I said, all of those people will receive a notification that Circloscope added them to a circle. They are likely to, because they were interested already, they're likely to take a look at the Circloscope page, add us back, and, see what we're posting and go from there. Possibly become customers. We might have just gotten 10 or 20 new customers just now.
Right.
So, in the next hour anyway.
At 25% off too. That's a nice deal.
Absolutely. And yes, and we do have a free version, which Craig posted. Put it up there so you can see. Circloscope.com free. So everyone should definitely check it out. That's perfect for profiles. If you don't need pages, and if you don't mind, the only difference between the free and the premium is the free is just for profiles. And when you add to circles, instead of adding 65 all at once like I just did, you would have to do it one at a time. So click, 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 click. So that's the only difference. But it's worth checking out. It's free. We offer, and if you do try the premium version for a discount, We offer money-back guarantees, so if you're not happy, then
you will be. Well worth it. I use it all the time.
Can't see anyone not being happy.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, so that's a good overview on Circloscope, and I'm sure we're going to come back to it with some more questions. But right now, let's dive into Nod3x a little bit, and let's talk about Nod3x, and then we'll you guys also feel free to engage with each other and ask questions about Nod3x. So, turn it over to John and Kara.
Thanks so much for having us here again. Really appreciate that. So, as Christine and Craig mentioned, Nod3x works well with Circloscope. It's so I guess just to kind of back up and give a quick overview introduction to what Nod3x is, it is a tool for social media discovery. And it works with Google+, but also as equally well with Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So it's a social media tool in a broad sense. And basically what you do to begin with is you start with a topic. So let's say you're interested in blogging. And so, obviously, hashtag blogging is one that you could enter into Nod3x, and what Nod3x would then do is it would go out to all the different social media platforms, and it would pick up on any post that contained the hashtag blogging. So, in a few hours, you would then begin to see, well, I'm seeing, 27 posts on G+, 50 tweets, 17 posts on Facebook, and here's some Instagram stuff. And so you can then kind of begin to get an overview of the activity surrounding this topic across social media. And then, of course, you can dive into the specific platforms from there. And another benefit to Nod3x is the ability to engage on these posts directly from the tool. So you don't have to be switching between G+ and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. We've normalized it all, and so you're doing everything from one dashboard. So once you kind of get the hang of the one tool, you can then get the hang of the social media platforms. For me, for example, I was initially G+ was what attracted me to social media. I was never on social media much prior to G+. So got on G+. Few months in, was working with Nod3x, and then I thought, well, maybe I need to be on Twitter. Didn't know anything about Twitter, but because Nod3x allowed me to do the same things on Twitter as I could on G+, it didn't take long, before I was using the basics of engage your audience, on Twitter, just like I had on G+, but through the tool. So that's one of the things that I like a lot about it. And then just to talk a little bit about the Circloscope integration. So once you've started your project, it begins to analyze all these posts that are being picked up on. And part of that analysis is it will pull out and show you those posts that have the most activity surrounding it. So those are the ones that are getting the most +1s, comments, and reshares. And you'll see them in a little box on your dashboard. And what you can then do is export all of that activity directly from Nod3x straight to Circloscope, and then you can run the filters and begin to kind of drill down into this audience. And this is extraordinarily beneficial. It takes a process that could take you days to go and find all these posts that people are really engaging, and it just compresses it down to a matter of hours, really minutes. The tool does automatically runs for a few hours. You sit down with it for a few minutes. Now all of a sudden you're circling and engaging a core group of people. So, Kara, you want to talk a little bit about what you've done with Nod3x?
Well, sure. Because I come at it from a different direction. I was looking for a tool to prove to my clients that there were conversations out there that were happening that they were either A, missing, or B, not participating in. And I needed to find a really fast way to narrow in on those conversations or those posts, because I was pitching to clients, and I'm like, trust me, those conversations are happening. Your competition, they're posting, and they said, no, I don't believe you. Because this was in 2011, 2012, and at that time in Canada, For example, a lot of banks and insurance companies, etc., were not on social media, so we're a little bit behind the mark, I would say. So, so I discovered Nod3x, and I realized that right away I had found one tool that I could enter in the hashtags, and I could then pinpoint the conversations that were happening, and then create reports that I could then show to my clients. And that was sort of where I started my work with Nod3x, is it allowed me to sort of take out all of the noise and show my clients exactly where the conversations were happening, whether it was on Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, etc., what their competition or what their customers were posting about or interested in. And then I said, okay, see, it's here, now let's reverse engineer, let's work with what you see and do it better. So,
and that reminds me, I mean, I know banks and insurance companies, these are very conservative, they're slower to act, but what they're not familiar with social media, what they are familiar with is advertising. And so I found that one of the key areas to Nod3x is we can translate some of the social media activity into more traditional terms. So I can tell you how many people were reached by your post, which translates directly into I showed my TV commercial, and here's the number of people on that network who saw it on Friday night. I can do the same thing with posts. So be that a campaign like this virtual bloggers conference, for example. If we were tracking it, we could see exactly how many people were reached throughout the course of this weekend. And then further, we can narrow it down and say, all right, well, who are the key engagers? Who are the key influencers? Again, specifically related to this conference. So I find that being able to do that and translate those numbers, into a more traditional business terms can be real helpful.
And then take Circloscope on top of Nod3x and say, I can contact all of those people with one click of a button. And they've already been filtered, they've already been, they've gone through the funnel. I know that, these 25 people, for example, are ready to buy. That is invaluable.
I just want to bring up one quick comment, since you're saying that you can now use Circloscope and contact these people. Peter Felton just said he received the ad, thanks, added back. And so, see, it's that easy, it's just, and I used Nod3x several times for a couple campaigns that I did for a client. They had specific hashtags that they were trying to track. They wanted to see how much reach the campaigns were getting, who the top engagers were, did we reach any influencers, and they just loved, that Nod3x was able to show some great reports on that.
That's great. And that's a good point you bring up. Nod3x tracking hashtag, when you do an event, it's very, very important to, right at the outset, pick a unique hashtag and be sure to use it in your posts, because Nod3x will be tracking that hashtag. We can track keywords also, or a combination of hashtags and keywords, but particularly with events and campaigns, finding a unique hashtag that you can track really will get you very clean data very quickly. So.
Now, I think it's really important at this particular time that people who are running smaller agencies or who are working for themselves really pay attention to programs like Circloscope and Nod3x, because the larger agencies are rolling out really powerful programs that are giving them access really quickly to all of the top influencers, all of the top journalists really fast. So for the rest of us to remain competitive, it's important to learn how to use Nod3x and Circloscope, so you can say to anyone, I can access the same clients, influencers, engagers just as quickly, because I know how to use these two programs.
And for a small fraction of the price, I'm sure.
Exactly. So, and I know for a fact that a lot of these big programs that are being rolled out to, for example, Walmart or Edelman, etc., $25,000 a month, guys, for them to have access quickly to, the mom in the middle America who has the son who wets the bed, and Pampers is going to pay an extraordinary amount of money to have access to that influencer. right? Or that blogger, or that woman who lives there. So if we can tell people that we have the exact same access to our programs at a third or a fraction of the cost, we can remain competitive. So
and that reminds me, another feature that what you just said reminded me of was the social listening aspect to Nod3x. So companies can hear those conversations quickly that are happening. And again, this is across all the major platforms. So, you know, if you're running some, you might want to be doing some customer service, you know, if you've got some reputation management to be doing, a lot of companies, I know in the U.S., cable companies, cable providers, that kind of company, they need to be doing this. And it will let you do that. So anytime someone mentions your company name, you'll get a you'll get a notification. And beyond that, Nod3x will do sentiment analysis for you, and you can actually set it up so that a key person in your organization will get an email if there's, say, a negative post about your company or about your product. Or if there's a positive post, you can send that to the right person, you know, and say, hey, look, you know, people are really liking this or whatever. So that's another element to all this.
So speaking of social listening, that's the one thing that kept popping in my head as you guys were talking is, you know, from a SEO standpoint, when I go to write a blog post as a blogger, I always want to get maximum value out of that post. And it seems like Nod3x would be a great tool to listen to the conversations that are going on and use it for idea generation to say, oh, this is going to be, you know, I know from, I just watched what was being discussed on Twitter, I watched what was being going on Google Plus, and now I know this post idea is definitely a great idea.
And this is just what that reminded me of was our word cloud and our hashtag cloud. So basically, let me see if I can do a screen share. My mouse just quit working, but I've got a trackpad. All right, let's see. We do this. Can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So what you were saying was, as a blogger, as an SEO person, it's important to connect with the conversation that's happening around a topic. Right. In this case, I'm tracking content marketing, and what I can see is Nod3x is telling me, okay, so these are the words that are more frequently used in association with content marketing. Obviously, the words content and marketing, but it breaks it down. Shopping, jumper day, no idea what that means. Beta community, social, tracking. So this is really breaking it out and saying, okay, these are the words people are using. So when I write content, these are the words that really will connect with the audience because these are the words that resonate with them already. Right. And with hashtags, we can see the top hashtags that are being used in connection with the content marketing topic. So digital marketing, blogging tips, SEO, marketing, social media. You know, these are the types of hashtags you'll want to be, you know, putting into your social shares and whatnot. You can also click on any of these to bring up the actual posts that that are tagged with these words. So okay, now I'm looking at content marketing. Well, let's just dig down a little bit into, let's say, digital marketing. So now I'll be seeing all the posts, again, across the social networks. So a lot of these are tweets, but you'll see G+ and Facebook and Instagram in here. And right here, I'm seeing kind of a live feed of what's been happening in the last few days, and specifically digital marketing. Right. And you can engage any of these directly. So you can tweet, you can retweet, you can share, you can comment, all from the dashboard.
John, can you just show us, can you give us a quick example of how we can engage?
Yeah, okay, so let's just do a quick, let's see, here we go, digital marketing, the ins and outs, all right. So I'll click on this, this will bring up the actual tweet. I can follow this person, I can favorite, retweet, or comment, all from right here. And then I'm done. And that saves me so much time because I don't have to go searching through Twitter for all the tweets related to digital marketing. I can go and in 5 minutes, I can engage 15 people who are talking about digital marketing.
Now, are these posts ranked in any way, John?
These are not. No, these are just the posts, the most recent posts.
Okay.
So down here, though, is where you start getting into the ranking. So these top posts have been identified as having the most engagement over the past 5 days. That's something to keep in mind. I don't want to get too detailed here, but we've got
those are specifically related to the keywords or hashtags that you put into your
correct
campaign, right? Yeah.
Correct. So these are the ones that have been identified as the top posts related to content marketing, and this is where the Circloscope integration comes into play. Right here, I click to manage with Circloscope, and it will take me over to Circloscope with everyone who's engaged on all of those top posts, put into a circle. I go over there to that list, and then break it down from there. I can see that this is not working quite correctly. I've let the developers know that this is a brand new feature, came out just a few days ago. But in essence, what you'll be able to do is do that as a bulk group. We've for a long time had the ability to do individual posts here, and again, this is from Instagram, so it's not going to work there. But individual G+ posts we could export. But the feature that's kind of being worked on right now is to do it in bulk. So.
Alan, can you also show us how Canva works with the dashboard? Just because
I could. I haven't done that. I don't think I have it connected on this computer right now. So we'll have to do that another day, or we may have a video that shows that, and I'll go find it and post it in the comments.
Yeah, it's just the one other thing about the dashboard that I absolutely love, because I can spend my entire day in Nod3x, and I don't have to go to any other program to do any of my content dissemination or even creation, because I can create all of my social media posts within Nod3x, because Nod3x has partnered with Canva, so I can go create a post. I can go into Canva right from Nod3x. Create my Canva post, create my
Your image.
Yeah, my image,
Yeah.
and I can create my content, and then send it out. So I can spend the entire day within Nod3x. So I can do my analytics in there. I can look for influencers, advocates, engage with people, create my own content without having to leave. And there's not a lot of other social media programs that allow that with as much power as Nod3x.
And beyond that, what that reminds me of is our virtual mentor piece, which basically it collects the data and it says, all right, here we're recommending that you post these posts on these days with these hashtags and these words with this type of content, and you can schedule it all. Yeah. So basically, it's kind of like a virtual assistant, which will recommend to you very, very targeted, specific types of social media posts, and then you can schedule them. Right now we're using a buffer integration, but we've also got a Chrome extension coming that will, it's Nod3x specific, and it will allow you to do a lot of different things that even buffer can't do. For example, scheduling and sharing to profiles, which is something that you can't do with any other tool, except I think Friends Plus Me came out with that a couple weeks ago. But anyway, so it'll be a Chrome extension for Nod3x that lets you do scheduling and everything from the virtual mentor with all that recommended information, like the top hashtags, the days and times that your posts are getting the most activity. So there's lots of debate. Well, on Twitter, if I'm talking about digital marketing, when should I post? Well, you can see that actually, and it's very different for different topics. I mean, you may find in the evening, on a Thursday, that people talking about social media. That's the time to engage that topic there, or what have you, blogging. Very, very targeted type information. So
John, you've mentioned a whole bunch of different platforms. So what platforms does Nod3x work with, and are you integrated with?
Okay. As far as other tools, you guys and Buffer are the only two tools. Well, and Canva. Those are the three tools that we integrate with. As far as tracking goes, we track on G+, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, news and blog feeds, and Instagram. We also have some LinkedIn features that basically allow you to do profile analysis. So you can basically run. You basically find a LinkedIn profile, you give it to Nod3x. Nod3x will then give you a lot of analysis and feedback on that profile. But LinkedIn is quite different from most other social platforms, in it's very unique to the user. So it doesn't track public posts because there really aren't any as in the same sense as there are on Twitter and Facebook and the others.
So eloquent, John.
What's that?
LinkedIn is full of bugs, and it's very closed. It's really hard to get into.
It's different. Yeah, it's different. It's got its own thing going on.
Well put.
Oh, and that reminds me of another feature, kind of something you can do is you can track your activity or the activity of your competitors from Nod3x. So, as a brand, you might want to say, well, who's engaging on my posts broadly on G+ or on Twitter or whatever, and then you can pull out, okay, here are the influencers related to my brand. Obviously, you're probably going to see yourself and your advocates, but you might see some people you didn't know about, or some people that you could maybe begin to develop a further relationship with and encourage them to maybe continue doing what they're doing or whatever. So you can see all the activity related to your brand specifically, or to your competitors' brands as well.
Mm-hmm. I've used it for a lot of benchmarking projects.
There you go.
And what I've told the client often is I've said, okay, well, what is it that you want to see? What's important to you? And then I've gone back to Nod3x, or I've gone back to John, or I've gone back to Lee, and I've said, okay, this is what they need to see, and this is what I need to provide for them. Can we do it? And more often than not, it's been yes. So
Yeah.
I've been really happy. And I'm a bit of a tool junkie, so I have bounced around and used them all. I will not name names, but Ian Cleary and I mean, if he didn't start his blog, I would have, about rating all the tools. And anyways, I can't say enough good things about Nod3x and Circloscope.
Very good.
Very good. If you guys have any questions out there in the audience, please feel free to leave them. I did see one from Coach Moore, and he was asking John, when they get notices, are they for Google Plus? Are they getting the plus mark with the notice, or how does the notice go to Google Plus people?
I'm sorry, I guess I don't quite understand that.
Well, you said we could send them from it integrates with Nod3x integrates with Google Plus, so we can pull them up and we can answer, or we can reach out to people there.
Yeah, you can engage on Google Plus from Nod3x, just like I showed you the tweet we pulled up, and you could retweet and do all those things, follow that person. You can do the same for G+ posts. So basically, you click on the G+ post, it comes up in the dashboard. You can then +1, you can comment, you can follow. You can't actually reshare from Nod3x on G+ because G+ does not allow that. But you can click a link and go to the platform and reshare it from there. And basically, when you +1 a post from Nod3x on the G+ side, someone sees it as a normal +1. I mean, there's no difference at all in that regard. So. Yeah.
That's the same point as when you add people to a circle from Circloscope.
Exactly.
There's no difference than if you added them to a circle on Google+. They get the same notification. The only difference is obviously that you can quickly add many people using Circloscope. But yes, so it's the same thing. It's the end user experience doesn't change. Based on whether you're engaging with them on Nod3x or whether you're adding them through Circloscope.
Absolutely. Yep, that's a good question. Yeah, that's great. You're correct. Yep, same deal.
Very cool. All right, well, it's been a very informative session. We've gotten a lot of good questions. And if you guys have anything left you'd like to ask each other, or say, we have some time left, we could go over a few more things. But if not,
Kara, I'm reminded that you use Nod3x for a live event. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, yeah, I used it for a big. Well, it was North America's largest golfing merchandise show, and what we were doing was my client was there, and they were at the conference, and they were trying to book people in to demo their machine that they had at the conference. So we were running Nod3x, and we were watching the hashtag as well. Well, we were watching all of the hashtags as well as any comments and then we could also geolocate where people were, where they were at, and we were able to see where people were at near the conference, having conversations about golf, and we jumped into conversations with them and said, we would love to have you at booth X, Y, and Z. You know, we see that you're interested in golf, that you're at the PGA Merchandise Show. We see that you're having a drink at Trader Joe's, and people just, they thought it was amazing. So that is how we booked exclusively demos for our client. Well, so we were in Toronto booking for our clients who were in Orlando, Florida.
That's so cool.
But the way we were able to access people is it seemed that we were right on the ground, right in Orlando at this merchandise show. And I think we were able to book 20 people per day for 3 days. So the client was very happy, and we just looked like superstars because it looked like we had a much more powerful group than we did versus the two of us. And we were probably only online for about 3 hours a day.
That's great.
But we were able to see the tweets. I mean, there was tweets, there was Google Plus posts, Facebook posts, and we were just able to jump into those conversations. And
you connected with a young man on Twitter, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. So there was a kid that had created a video that was already going viral, and it was called Stop, Drop, and Do a 12-footer. So this kid was doing a 12-foot putt in all these really wild places. So he was becoming a little bit of a internet sensation while at the PGA Merchandise Show. So we jumped on board of his sort of viral experience, and he then took his film crew to be filmed at our client's booth and do a demo. So, and we discovered that all through just Nod3x.
And it's all live. It's all happening.
That's awesome.
As it happens. It's amazing.
So I could not recommend it enough for people who are well doing their own work, but also working with clients, because it's really powerful. It gives you a real upper hand. But you just have to spend the time learning how to use it. But
you do.
You know, if you don't, you're at a disadvantage because someone else will learn how to do it, and you won't be getting the work.
Right. We've got a lot. Lee Smallwood, who is the founder of Nod3x, he's produced a great series of tutorial videos out there. They range anywhere from a few minutes to about 10 minutes. So all the different topics we're really breaking down. He's actually working with some people to produce a training series, so that'll be coming out to learn Nod3x. I am a Nod3x advocate, you could say, so I'm always around Monday through Friday. Anytime you plus mention Nod3x or myself with a question, I'm right there within a few minutes, usually answering questions and getting things solved. So you can feel like you've got a team supporting you, you know, as you go forward with Nod3x.
Very cool. Sounds like a good plan. So, guys, if you have any other links you'd like to leave or anything for our viewers, people are coming back and watching this in replay. We've had quite a good influx so far on all the sessions, so I'm sure we're going to keep getting more. So please do so. And I'm going to let you give any parting words here, and then we're going to sign off for the day. So let's go back to Circloscope and Craig and Christine. So, Christine, anything you'd like to leave us with before we go? Any last words of wisdom or...
Well, thank you very much again for having us, Chef. We really appreciate it. But yes, I mean, I just think everyone needs to go give it a try. You know, give Circloscope a try, give Nod3x a try. Like Kara said, if you're not learning to use them, your competitors probably are. So, you know, give it a try, and all of us are here to answer questions. We have communities, we have help desks. You know, there are tutorial videos for both of us. And you just give it a try.
Good advice.
Yeah, we have a 14-day free trial. I'm about to comment into the community and leave our website so you can go and check that out.
Very good. Thanks, John. Anything from you, Craig?
Just circle me and say hello, and circle everyone else like the pros do.
I think you need to make another video cutting the cheese for us. That's what it is.
I don't have to tell everyone about that video.
That was a classic. All right, good enough. And John, you're going to leave the links for us for the
Yep. Just posted it just then, so you should see it in a few seconds.
Sounds good. And Kara, anything else you'd like to leave us with?
Thanks, Chef, for creating this amazing conference and inviting us. You must be tired.
Yeah, I'm ready for a nap.
So honestly, you deserve, a nice big like Mai Tai or pina colada or something.
That would be good. It would probably put me right to sleep.
Well, anyways, thank you very much for
Thank you all.
being
Yeah, it was awesome.
and setting this up. This is really lovely.
Well, it was my pleasure, and thank you. It's good to have friends, because without all my wonderfully talented, brilliant friends, there would have been no conference. Just a chef talking for nonstop. For
That would have been all right.
Yeah, for a little while anyway. So thank you all, and thank you all for attending the conference. Remember, everything is on YouTube and replay, so head back over there if you missed something or if you just want to rewatch. So thanks a lot, and I will see you all soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.